Welcome, everybody, to the Fandom Nights podcast, where we break down pop culture one fandom at a time. I'm Chris.
I'm Sherman.
Oh, I'm Dustin.
I was going to say, and this is Dustin. And today we're talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender, Book 1, Chepisode 17, The Northern Air Temple, which was released on November 4th, 2005, and got an...
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, we were talking about that
right.
last week.
You're right.
We're going to wait till the end to do the rating.
Yeah,
so that it doesn't give us a bias.
Yeah. Well, now it gave me a bias. I gotta erase all those. Anyways, the Northern Air Temple. Dustin, take us through the story.
I'm glad somebody's here to rein you in.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He was given a...
So it opens with a man telling a story about the Northern Air Temple back about 100 years ago. And they're talking about... Or they're sitting around a campfire, all the Team Avatar and these random people. And the old man says, "Oh, no, these stories aren't 100 years old.
Oh, yeah.
They're... The super old man here was there like last week."
Great-grandpa saw him just last week. Which, once again, the older you are in this show, the less teeth you have.
Yeah.
Because he's got like 4 teeth when he smiles. He's like...
They spot a bunch of gliding around the temple, and Aang mentions that they aren't airbenders.
Oh, you skipped it over the laughing at gravity part.
I laugh at gravity all the time. Gravity.
It's just one of my favorite lines in the whole series, so, yeah.
The whole series?
It was funny. One of the funniest lines. I don't know, he just...
Why did you invite him? Like, the whole series,
It's
and that's
funny.
the funniest?
He's just like...
They're a
Gravity.
wave... Oh. I get it. I get your anger.
That's why I just sit here in silence and wait for you guys to be done. Or him, mainly, I suppose. So, Teo is the kid with the broken legs who glides. Aang and Teo are gliding in a downward spiral, and Teo is like, "You're pretty good." And Aang is like, "I know, but I can do more than just fancy gliding."
Yeah.
And then he does like the airball thing on the side of the wall, and then jumps back onto his glider.
Which comes back, and I was glad about that.
What?
That airball thing comes back later in the episode. It was awesome, like a little callback.
What? He does this like every episode.
No, I know, but against the wall like that.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aang runs onto the wall. Alright, I said that. So then Teo draws a picture of Aang in the sky using smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And Aang sarcastically is like, "Yeah, that's great."
Yeah, it's his exact face that he has at that moment.
Sokka takes an interest to the mechanic, creative side of this place.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Which was really cool throughout the whole episode. They're both just like feeding off each other, and it shows again how smart Sokka's getting and how he just uses all the abilities he has. And I don't know.
Detective Sokka.
Yeah, no, Detective Zuko, Engineer Sokka. I don't know.
Aang says this place is unbelievable, and it's good, right? No, just unbelievable.
Yeah, he's not very impressed with all the stuff that happened there.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, would you?
it's like desecrating the, Mount Rushmore or something.
Right.
To him,
Yeah.
which is what all these Black Lives Matter people want to do. Anyways,
Yeah.
get into anger from that. So, yeah. Don't even get started on people who want to tear down freaking statues. So then Aang is distraught when he finds the stories of his people just being treated like nothing. Because there's like a bunch of hieroglyphs on the wall or whatever, and there's just like pipes sticking out of the walls.
Yeah, which was really... You'd think that they would pick a different spot to put the pipes. Like, it's got to be doable. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you're not an air nomad, how are you supposed to know that all these things are so sacred?
I guess.
To them, it's just a wall with a picture on it.
But I mean, like, I think it just seems weird that, like, wouldn't you, like, just add a little extra piping to go through a door as opposed to, like,
Right.
let's just... Cause
Or go through
of
one big hole. Cut out one picture of one dude. Okay.
And I get where Aang's coming from, because, like, even watching it, like, I felt kind of, like... I felt really bad that, like, especially you see one pipe coming right through a guy's face.
To the face. I know. Like, go a little bit over to the right.
No, just...
Yeah.
Teo's father stumbled across this temple after being chased and attacked by the Fire Nation, and that's how they arrived there. His father says, "Look at the time." Or wait, I think I skipped a bunch. No, then we meet the dad or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then that's when
I don't remember that, but
look at the time, and then it goes to the candles, and it crack,
oh
crack, crack,
yeah,
crack.
It's 4-0 candle.
4-0 candle.
This is the second time you actually get the same voice actor.
The dad.
The dad.
What is he?
He's the white, super long bearded guy of the what is it? The Jinwei, the super clean tribe that from the canyon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He plays Odo from Star Trek, which we don't talk about.
Which we don't talk about.
Teo wants to show Aang something, so they walk down this hallway type area, and then Teo mentions that the creatures that live in this temple are probably direct descendants of the creatures from 100 years ago, and that's like one of the very things that hasn't changed probably about the temple. So the creatures that live there,
they're telling a story or something that Katara says. I always love how Katara always, like, when Katara's down, Aang brings her up. When Aang's down, Katara brings him up, and it's just like I don't know.
Maybe it's foreshadowing a relationship.
You thinking, Sherman? Possibly.
You know what foreshadowing is, Chris? I mean, you didn't know what flashbacks were, like, so I figured...
Foreshadowing. Something about, like, a month-long shadow, like a first
Jeez.
So Teo just wanted to let Aang know that the temple room, the only place that can be accessed by airbending into the horns or whatever, hasn't been accessed because only an airbender can open it. And then it cuts to a shot of they call him the mechanist, or how do you pronounce it? Mechanist.
Yeah.
The mechanist shows Sokka the door that has all the natural gas leaking from it, and Sokka realizes this place is an explosion waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then the mechanist explains that it will blow up unless they can find a way to locate something they can't see, hear, smell, or touch. So essentially, like propane.
Natural gas, yeah.
So propane has added smells. The Teo tells Katara that the wind has something lighter than air that helps them fly, and then Aang says it's spirit. Which it is.
Yeah.
Then Katara falls off the edge and is gliding, and then Aang kind of follows her real quick and says to keep her mouth shut to avoid eating all the bugs.
Which it instantly cuts to Momo just, oh really?
Ow.
Ah. Yep.
Aang says that even though Teo is not an airbender, he still has the spirit of one, and decided to show him that sacred sanctuary area, or whatever. I don't know what you call that.
The Inner Sanctum? I think that's what they call it.
No, I don't remember.
Inner Sanctum. That's from like a Spy Kids movie or something. So then, cuts to Katara. She accidentally eats some bugs. That's a bug. That was a bug.
Mm-hmm. I like how Katara, even though she's a waterbender and is scared, she still jumps off, runs off and does the gliding.
I mean, none of those other kids are airbenders.
Right.
They're
right.
gliding, so.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So then Aang blows airbending into the little doorway or whatever, and then it cuts to the mechanist and Sokka, and they eventually figure out that if they mix the rotten eggs that the mechanist has with the gas and let it mix, that they'll be able to find the source of the gas leak.
Mm-hmm. Which kind of like, do people just have like a bunch of rotting eggs laying around, or like, because I mean, I know he had like an egg in his office. It's
yeah.
But like, we're I feel like you'd clean them out or like get rid of them or do something with them.
In the one day that it took to prepare for the battle, they just found a ton of rotten eggs.
Right.
Just on there, yeah.
So the doors open, and Aang and Katara, all they see is Fire Nation weapons, and Aang is like, this is a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And Aang accuses the mechanist of making weapons for the Fire Nation, and he explains that he only made Fire Nation weapons and for the soldiers, or he explains that he made it for the Fire Nation because the soldiers found them a year after getting to the temple, and they were going to destroy the whole place and kill everyone, but he offered his services to allow everyone's security.
Which I love. I love how, like, when he walks in, he's like, no, this isn't what it looks like. And Aang just calls him out. He's like, no, you're doing exactly what I... Like, it looks exactly like it is. Like,
yeah.
Did you guys notice that when Aang opened the tower, they cut to the Mechanist and he heard these jingle bells ring?
Yeah.
So he's like, I gotta go. Yeah,
and he knows someone's going into that room.
Right.
It's like the one room that no one goes in.
Which I really want to know how he opened the door.
Blast the wall on the other side.
You think?
Yeah. You just bulldoze the whole side of it. Yeah,
just busted open a wall or something somewhere, yeah.
It's not like it's...
But I mean, like...
It's not like solid platinum or titanium.
He's also an engineer, so there's got to be a way to just turn those little things at the air...
Yeah, but I mean, like, Teo's been there, like, almost his whole life. Mm-hmm. And he says that, like, nobody's ever been able to open it. So, like, how... like because that's obviously... Why would you tell your son? No. Well, it's more of a... I'm just curious, because, like, how do you go your whole life and not notice, like... somebody moving or like going in and out of that room?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going through the front door, that's why. Yeah,
I feel like the dad just goes in there to tinker and work. And
I don't think he's going through
Dad's alone time. He goes in there every Friday and Saturday.
It's just an unexplained thing that I'm curious
You think you'd
about.
notice in a smallish place like that.
Yeah, when you live your whole life at the temple.
Yeah. Smallish.
I wouldn't use the word small.
It's like living in a castle your whole life.
Right. It's complete opposite of small. Anyways, Aang slaps the Fire Nation man in the face. That comes up. He like just slaps him with some air. Just air slap. Like, that was like the most weak slap ever.
I like how it was just one dude coming up there and he's like, "You're gonna regret this," and they let him go, and like, okay, probably shouldn't have done that, but.
Right.
And tells him to get out of here, and then Katara asks how they can win, and Aang says they can use air power, since the Fire Nation doesn't have this, and will help us win. Mm-hmm. So then Sokka helped the mechanic finish his development of the hot air balloon, basically saying that you just gotta put a cap on the top to control the balloon, control the airflow, and that they got 4 different kinds of bombs: smoke, slime, fire, and stink. Never underestimate the power of stink.
Never underestimate the power of stink.
Then they wait for the Fire Nation, and then they start coming, and Aang and the gliders take off like planes, and Aang glides over a bunch of snow and creates an air ball, and makes an avalanche that starts to...
Yep, that's where the thing comes back, where he wall rides. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And then hops back on his glider with ease. Mm-hmm. I noticed that I think every episode has something like that.
Where it like does something and then calls back to it.
Right, because like it's making me remember like from episode I think 2 or 3, like when Sokka's like
every episode has a mirror. That's a good. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to watch out for that. That's kind of cool. But like they set something up and then it pays off somewhere. Right. You know.
Or it's just a callback. Even if
like the Great Divide or whatever. Aang like helps Sokka and Katara fix their dispute, and then it's like a setup and payoff, or like the whole episode's about something, or it's mirrored in what he does later. Yeah.
So then they wait for the tanks have these like grappling hooks, and so they grapple up to the top of the temple.
Which they are so powerful. Like he knocked off some of those grapples and stuff, and then they're falling and just shoots another one up. Just got unlimited grapples, and they're just like terrifying machines.
Appa comes in and just knocks out a couple of those tanks, but then they just like turn around. And,
they do that like weird flip in the middle.
Right. And then they're just like ready to go again. Mm-hmm. And then the bomb with the air balloon worked. Sokka tosses off like the engine of the hot air balloon. The only thing actually keeping them in the air. Tosses it into this crevice where the like actual gas leak is coming from. And
because they smell the rotten eggs.
Again, I like how Sokka just like, it's the only bomb we have. Like he's just so ready and willing to give everything he has to whatever goal they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So the bomb works, and the Fire Nation retreat, and Aang saves them from falling to their deaths.
Right, which, when he throws that bomb off of there and it blows up all the natural gas or whatever, he he kills all those soldiers, right? Like all those tanks and everything, they fall, they're obliterated.
No, because you see a bunch of
the soldiers, leaving. But you don't see any of the tanks anymore.
No, I'm saying when they're retreating, you see a bunch of soldiers just like walking down there.
Yeah, but the ones in the tanks are probably dead.
There's people dying all the time.
I know, but like
it's war.
I know, but I'm just saying, like that one bomb, like holy crap, he killed a lot of people right there.
Yes, 16 or no, he's 16 years old. Sokka, and Katara's 14, and then Aang is 12 and Toph is 12. So then after that, Aang realized that, like the hermit crab that lives in the temple, that they were not born here, but they found this empty shell and made it their home.
That's pretty cool.
And then the Fire Nation, the final scene is the Fire Nation finding that old air balloon and says it'll be the key to the future. That's it.
Well, yeah, when they found that thing, I'm like, oh yeah, we see that later. I mean, I guess that's future spoilers, but it was pretty crazy. They're like, oh, we might have lost this battle, but we're going to win a lot more with some air power. Especially because right before that scene, Aang's like, you're right, air power can win battles. As long as we have that, we can defeat anything. And then all of a sudden it cuts to the Fire Nation like, we have it too.
Which, as soon as that happened and like the credits started rolling, that's why like I brought that up in with the Mandalorian episode, because this episode was directed by Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I really got the same like kind of Mandalorian feel going on with that.
Sure.
Where, like, oh, tides are turning, not in your favor. Crap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward episode. Like, there's not a ton just to talk about. It's like everything happens, and there's not a lot of lore that happens. Not a lot of things that impact a lot, other than like minor things like this. I think this is the first time we ever see that like steampunky type stuff, other than like in the Fire Nation. But this is like, it felt like very steampunk to me.
I mean, it's tough because like you, considering the guy's essentially working for the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
So like,
he must have come up with the whole.
Just nobody questioned where does he get all the metal.
Huh?
He's up in an air temple.
Right. Where'd you get all the metal for those pipes, huh?
No, I just had it laying around. There's a storage room of metal.
There's a metal pipe storage room
in the air temple.
It's hidden in the other inner sanctum.
So, weird thing is this, with the hermit crab thing, this episode, another time where, like, hermit crabs are just hermit crabs.
Yeah.
There's nothing weird about them.
Yeah.
And, like, there's no other weird creatures in this episode.
There was those little beetle things, or was that a hermit crab?
That was a hermit crab.
Oh, the whole thing was a hermit.
Yeah.
Okay, for some reason I thought it was a beetle that she was handing over, and
no, it's
it was a hermit.
You didn't notice that it literally does the crab walk between her hands?
I wasn't paying attention. Huh. Okay. But yeah, it's just a normal...
It was weird that they were, like, they seemed, like, hairy almost, though.
There's got to be
like
something different
woolly
about them. There's no water up there, you know, so there's...
Snow.
Yeah. Snow
Arctic crabs?
Arctic woolly crabs.
Hermit crabs do not have to live in water.
They
Good
don't.
point.
I had a hermit crab.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. Weird. So yeah, that was creatures. There wasn't a lot of like wise sayings or anything in this episode. No Avatar State. No running jokes really.
No Zuko.
No Zuko. Yeah. As far as bending numbers, there was 2 times that Katara water bent when they were like, oh, those tanks. They're like guidance flip over systems, whatever. It's like a water
counterbalance.
Yeah, counterbalance. And so she uses water bending twice to knock over 2 of the tanks. That's about it for that. Earth bending 0. Air bending, there was 17. All the times where Aang was like throwing stuff and like slapping the guy, flipping the door closed, which I thought there'd be a lot more, but just 17.
Especially at the air temple.
Right.
Oh, another thing I wanted to point out too is like all the Fire Nation soldiers, none of them were benders except for the ones that were in the tanks.
Yeah.
Which
I did count all those fireballs because
hold on, they're all firebending.
They're all firebending, which we don't see every single one of them.
But we see one, so we can assume the others.
Right. Which is the
see,
other
that's
fireballs.
why I was like, I was literally thinking that to myself. I'm like, is Chris going to count these?
Yes.
Because like you don't see the actual fight, like
because they're actual just firebending fireballs. The other fireballs that they're shooting off the ships, they were like big
catapults.
Catapult things that they light on fire, possibly most likely with firebending, but we don't know for sure. This one, I know, but that's why I didn't count all the fireballs in those other ones because you don't see it on screen.
Right.
So, but these ones, I've kind of changing the rule a little bit because, like, you know that each one of those fireballs has to come from a firebender, so there's bending on screen for all those. So I don't know. Maybe I'm.
No, that's a good rule.
I don't know.
Nope, you did perfect.
Yeah. So there's 30 instances of firebending. Yep. So 2 water, 30 fire, 17 air.
Which another weird part about when you see the guys in the tank, that the guys firebending inside the tanks don't have masks. Fire Nation soldiers who are bending, because the guy when you see with the jet episode.
Do you want to know why?
Yeah.
The breath of fire.
So you can breathe while you're firebending?
Have you ever seen Zuko firebend out of his mouth?
Yeah.
You have already. That's
but
essentially is the breath of
but what I'm saying, so like in previous,
everything draws from your breath if you're wearing a mask all the time.
Well, in previous episodes, the only Fire Nation people who are benders all wear masks.
Like when, so in the early episodes when like Aang is trying to escape Zuko, all the soldiers that can bend have like that weird like
the white mask,
covering.
And these
but like
didn't.
Regular soldiers, like all the guys who are carrying pikes or spears,
they're like black masks.
They don't have anything on their face.
Right.
Regular soldiers in this episode don't have masks.
Yeah, all those ones that were marching up, all those ones that were marching up, and they were throwing stink bombs at them or whatever. No firebending at all.
The guys at the end when they're like trying to refill the
they were all holding fire.
Yeah, but those guys had masks on.
Right. I think the tank ones didn't, because why would you wear a big mask with pointy ears on it when you're trying to move around in a
They
tank?
still had helmets on, but like...
Yeah, I suppose. But those masks are pretty... Don't they have like pointy things up on the top?
No, because you see later on in the series that it's literally just a face covering that slides out of the helmet.
I don't know why they don't. They're inside the tank, I guess. They're like, this is my secret place.
Yeah,
I can just firebend in here.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, let's rate it. Sherman, what do you rate this episode?
Honestly, I would give this one like a 7.3. Like, at most.
Yeah.
It was an alright episode.
Yeah.
I didn't think anything like too special about it, or...
It was passable. Nothing amazing happened.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Dustin?
7.5.
7.5. Alright. Any reasoning? Or just a meh?
7.5.
Meh episode?
It was a very meh episode.
Pull a Marshawn Lynch and just say 7.5.
I don't know who that is.
Who is that?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Who is it?
Sports.
What is this sports thing you talk of?
But I was watching this YouTube video.
Uncultured swines.
It was this dude who was like kind of into stuff like we are, and he was like getting quizzed about all this sports stuff, and I had no idea on any of the answers, and he didn't either. And it was like simple stuff, like who's Marshawn Lynch? I couldn't tell you what sport he plays. Like, I honestly can't.
I'm gonna guess basketball.
I'm guessing basketball because you're into
football.
Basketball. Really?
He's notoriously famous for never answering questions.
Okay.
He's like, his most famous response is, like, I don't get paid enough to do this, like, or just like random, just like,
wow,
I'm not answering your questions, or he'll just be like,
wow.
Yes,
it's not my job.
Yes,
just yes,
yes.
done. You should.
How would you play tonight? Yes. It's just like, does not
How'd you
care.
play tonight? Good.
Nope, he'll just say yes. He'll say the
Really?
exact same
the same word.
No, the exact same word or phrase for every question. Until, because every NFL player is usually required like 5 minutes of press time after games and stuff like that. People don't have to. You have to be there. You don't have to necessarily like give you answers. Like, athletes are just nice when they give you the answers. They're not required to. And so this guy fully does not ever.
He just doesn't care.
Yeah. Wow. He still gets paid millions of dollars. You don't care.
So what are you going to give it, Chris?
I was just going to give it a 7. Just low C.
Wow.
7.0. So it, I think, brings it to like a...
I'm just glad you said
21.8
because I had a feeling you were going to say 6 something, and I was going to have to just...
7.35.
It's not a horrible episode, it's just nothing...
No, but we can't give any episodes below a 7. Because no episode is below a 7.
There might be somewhere, but we'll see.
No, there's not.
They're, like,
everything is either passable or amazing.
I'm actually with you on that. Like, this
whole
series
has so far been passable or amazing, which is pretty good. But
even with Korra, like, it's passable or just amazing.
I love Korra.
I don't think there's any episode of Korra that I'm just like.
I don't know if
Sorry, I can't actually say that that's true either. With this series, the only episode I think is like barely passable is Jet's episode because I hate that guy so much.
Really?
I told you this. I hate Jet's character.
Have 2 seasons of the Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I've been trying to look for somewhere to watch it, and there's just nowhere to watch it. There's like 4 episodes on Hulu. That's cool.
It's got a VPN with Netflix. I mean, we'll talk about it later. But okay,
secret hacks.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
We should do like sports episode where you like ask us simple questions like who is Marshawn Lynch or what sport does Marshawn Lynch play?
Let's just do a sports quiz.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna be the teacher.
I know.
And you guys write down your answers.
So
and I'm gonna rate them after.
Can we
how many
like
points
set
do
it
you
up?
have to get to win this game? And we'd be like,
yes,
I have no idea.
So real quick, okay, hold on. Let's finish this episode.
No, I'm gonna get this note down in my head before I forget.
Coming soon, you guys. We're doing a sports trivia.
Which has nothing to do with what we talk about.
I know,
but it'll be funny.
It'll just be funny because we have
What's
no idea
pop?
what we're talking about.
We're gonna do pop culture and just suck at sports.
All right,
but yeah, that's been it for this episode of Avatar, or this Chepisode of Avatar.
This Chepisode.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, thanks guys. See ya.
Follow us on.
Don't follow. Join us.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's pretty good.
That was kind of tingly.
I know. Follow us on. No, we should do that from now on. Like I'll be like, follow us on. And you're like, no, Chris. Join us.
You say follow. Say follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And be like, no, join us. I'll just gaze into the camera. No. When you guys are just talking about that, I'm gonna grab my Darth Vader mask, put it on, and be like, join us.
No, join us. All right, well, join us next time.
Join us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Me,
soon to be
I'm the
TikTok.
main guy doing that. So
I add
you
in,
hear a lot of
I
Star
add
Wars
in from
stuff
time to time.
and Avatar stuff.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
No, yip.
No yip.
Not this episode.
I'm still waiting
Appa's
for it.
still over there. I gotta wait for him to come over here first. Appa.
Yip.
Yip.
That sucked.
That was terrible.